Welcome to the Dharwad Katte Book Talk Short Talk program. Today I shall introduce a book titled Sri Aurobindo on Shakespeare, written by K.D. Setna, published by Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Pondicherry, India. And this book was first published in 1965, and its fifth impression appeared in 2021. And this book has been written by K.D. Setna. Let me say a word or two about the author of this important book on Shakespeare. K.D. Setna was born on November 26, 1904 and died on 29th June 2011. And he was an Indian poet, scholar, and philosopher and cultural critic, and he has published more than 50 books during his lifetime. I have read this book and I found this book to be very, very inspiring, interesting, and exciting. If you read this book, you shall get an idea about Sri Aurobindo's understanding of Shakespeare, his views, opinions on and about Shakespeare, and his plays and his poetry, and so on. I should make it very clear at the beginning itself that Aurobindo had a lot of admiration, love, and respect for Shakespeare and the most exciting, beautiful world that Shakespeare created in his plays and in his sonnets. And I have a lot of personal respect and love for Sri Aurobindo because I like him as a freedom fighter. I like him as a revolutionary. As I like him as a metaphysical seeker, as a poet, playwright, and thinker. More especially, I like his views and his understanding of yoga and yoga philosophy. And we all know that Sri Aurobindo, was born in 1872 and died in 1950, 3 years after India got its independence. He was born in Bengal, but educated mainly in England from his seventh to his 21st year. I think he spent his formative years in London in an alien atmosphere, in an alien land. He studied at St. Paul's School, London, and King's College, Cambridge. It shows that Sri Aurobindo studied in the best school, in the best college that the world could claim at that point in time. Besides English, which was like a mother tongue to him, he knew several European languages, and he was conversant with the best literature in Greek, Latin, French, Italian, Germany, and Sanskrit and Bengali. For 6 years, 1904 to 1910, he led the Indian nationalist movement, then withdrew to Pondicherry. And we all know that Sri Aurobindo was a nationalist of the highest order, and some critics say that he was an extremist, and he wanted to achieve independence through violence. And all of a sudden, Aurobindo withdrew from active Indian freedom movement and went to Pondicherry, South India, where he concentrated on what he called the integral yoga. So Sri Aurobindo spent his time, the best of his time, in studying, understanding, and coming in terms with integral yoga and inner development to realize a new consciousness beyond the mental, which would provide the key to the problems besetting human life. So he lost his interest in the material world, in the physical world, in violence, and sought shelter in spiritualism. and he wanted to understand human life. He wanted to understand man's relationship with God. He wanted to understand human consciousness, and he also wanted to understand the effect of yoga on human mind and development of human consciousness. And Sri Aurobindo published books on various themes. Some of the major ones in prose are The Life Divine, The Synthesis of Yoga, The Foundations of Indian Culture, The Human Cycle, The Ideal of Human Unity, The Future Poetry. His greatest epic works are Ilion, an epic in quantitative hexameters built on a principle of what would be natural English quantity, and Savitri, a legend and a symbol, the longest blank verse epic in English, running to nearly 20,000 lines. And K.D. Setna, himself a poet and critic, has linked together Sri Aurobindo's numerous insights and critical observations on Shakespeare by a commentary, further expounding and applying them. This may well be regarded as India's most significant contribution to the understanding and appraisal of Shakespeare's genius. This is a short book of 119 pages, and this is an important book on Shakespeare by an Indian author. And when we read this book, we will get an idea as to how Indian major poet, playwright, thinker, and yogi could think about Shakespeare and his world. And we all know that Shakespeare is the greatest, the finest, and the most superior genius that the world literature has ever produced. So Shakespeare no longer belongs to England or Europe. He belongs to he belongs to everyone, because English is spoken in the across the globe, and wherever English is spoken, Shakespeare will be there, because we can't think of English without Shakespeare. Shakespeare has contributed tremendously to the development of the English language. And it is very exciting to know how Aurobindo himself was a poet, was a creative writer, was a playwright, was a poet of the of a high order. And how would he understand Shakespeare, and how he would react to criticism that appeared on Shakespeare, and how he would respond to the artistic excellence of Shakespeare. So when we read this book, we will find his views and opinions on and about Shakespeare. And I request the readers to kindly buy this book and read this book to have an idea how an Indian thinker can think about Shakespeare and Shakespeare's beautiful, exciting world. Thank you so much.